Hello, good evening to you and welcome to News 360. It's coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adiso Kanda. I'm Natalie Ford.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Come out in the bulletin tonight.
Deluxipate, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray.
Attorney General Gloria Ekufu says injunction placed on officials of the GFA is to stop them from using the association for their selfish gains.
Health Minister Kwekwa Menu vows to sanction and deal ruthlessly with any hospital or health practitioners who refer emergency cases to other hospitals in the name of no bed.
Meanwhile, wife and son of late 70-year-old man who died owing to no bed in 6 hospitals in Accra speaks out.
And in business tonight, price of maize up by some 50% at major market centers across the country. On international front, U.S. President Donald Trump says his historic talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that ended in a joint agreement were tremendous, as in his own words. The details of these and more tonight here on News 360. We're live as well on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com.
Absolutely, Alfred. Let's start off with our very first story this evening, as the GFA has become an instrument for self-aggrandizement by people who run it to make themselves rich. These were arguments advanced by the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, Gloria Ekufu, to support the plea for an interlocutory injunction on the officials of the GFA. Godfrey Tanam was in court and brings us the following report.
An Accra High Court, presided over by Justice Samuel Esidu, granted injunction filed by the Attorney General to restrain officials of the Ghana Football Association from carrying out official duties at the premises of the association. The injunction, which spans a period of 10 days, subject to renewal, is part of efforts by government to liquidate GFA with the aim of getting the association work in the interest of Ghanaians. The order from the court stops the officials of the association from involving themselves in the organization of football matches, selling the assets of the association, appointment and election officials, and any other official duty. The Attorney General held the view government has the responsibility to protect the interests of the public since the GFA was being used for illegal purposes. She argued officials of the GFA have used the association for some scandalous and corrupt practices. The recent investigative video by Anas Aremiyanas, she said, revealed many illegal activities which government cannot overlook. She said upon the revelation, some officials of the GFA made attempts to travel to Russia to carry out activities on behalf of the association.
Seriously taking into consideration how FIFA operates. So we are soliciting their support and cooperation to deal with the matter. Our position is that the GFA as presently constituted, especially when you consider it is not only the subscribers who are involved in this, referees, regional directors, almost everybody associated who has some are not only bleeding and using the FA for their personal gain through illegal means, but they are also affecting the performance of football in this country.
Shake-up in Ghana football was necessitated by investigative journalist Anas Aremiyanas' latest expose on corruption in football. High-ranking members of the GFA, including its then-president Kwesi Nyantakyi, have been implicated in acts of corruption.
Now, we're going to raise a legal practitioner and also a lecturer at the law school, Moses Formani, on this particular issue subsequently as we go on the bulletin. So stay with us. But thanks to a social media post a few hours after his father's death, a grieving wife and angry son have got a nation discussing again the deteriorating health service system. Now, but they are not only going to mourn and rant, they will also take legal action if need be over a system that failed them miserably when they needed it most. John Hughes spoke to the wife and son of the late Prince Anthony Opoku-Champon, the 70-year-old man who was refused a hospital bed from 7 hospitals and died.
Her pot with which she fetches water to quench her thirst has been broken. Her backbone is being damaged. The mighty tree under which she seeks shade is being cut off, and it is because of a system that is non-functional. But Mami, Pacho Kafra, ni Yako, shedding. When you fi na Oshe say send your doctor for ni nurse for any medical system send ya omoye juma any
say your doctors and your nurse for the omomwa ye cry omomwa omano cry bibia.
Currently, our doctors and nurses are not helpful to the nation at all. We blame government, but the problem is really us.
I say your manifested in book. And Tiana, yes, say your man. Musuma can't tell me some mobile pankwa. Mobile pankwa, mobile life. Nothing any pay one. When you
My mom had cried on her knees. She had to go back into the car because there was nothing she could also do at the moment. And so she went to sit by my dad again. And all I could hear is say that, Kwame, papa home in She had then put her left ear on my dad's chest. So I rushed into the car, put my hand on his, to test his pulse, and it wasn't pumping. So I went back to the doctor and said that my dad's pulse is not pumping. Please, check up on him for me. That was when he put the device in his ear and put it on his chest, shook his head, opened his right eye, and said he was dead. And all through these hospitals, there's no bed, and not even a paracetamol was administered. It's sad. I wrote a write-up, pasted it on my wall on Facebook, because that was my next resort. I wrote it at 5:45 a.m., posted it. 2 hours later to 3 hours, I checked my Facebook and I realized that about 500 to 700 comments had come just within that short time. About 85% of the people who commented on that post were all saying that this has happened to me, that has happened to my mom, that has happened to my uncle. A lot of them were saying that similar things had happened to them. So the question was, so how long will this keep happening? This is criminal in the sense that negligence, medical negligence, is an act of crime.
Well, certainly a very, very sad situation. Their 70-year-old father passed 7 hospitals, that is, and in fact ended up losing his life. And so we're going to run you by the bed capacity in the major hospitals in the country and take a look at, because for him to lose his life just due to the lack of beds is certainly a very worrying situation. Now, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, there are 2,000 beds available, while at the Trust Hospital, 86 beds, and the Police Hospital, 100 beds, while the Lekma Hospital has 100 beds. Now, he was moved to 7 various hospitals and in the end ended up dying. The Tema General Hospital, 294 beds, while the 37 Military Hospital has 400 beds, and the Greater Accra Regional Hospital at Ridge has 420 beds. And this is all within the Greater Accra region. Now, in the Eastern region, the Eastern Regional Hospital has 400 beds, while the Akimoda Government Hospital has 174 beds, and the Nsawam Government Hospital has 135 beds. And it's a Facebook post that, in fact, led to the country talking about this issue, and the health minister has spoken about it further and the measures and actions to be taken in this regard.
Absolutely. So we're going to be doing a nationwide analysis of the bed capacity of some of the major hospitals. So you stay with us in our subsequent bulletins. But the Minister of Health, Kweku Ajimameno, says he will sanction and deal ruthlessly with any hospital or health practitioners who refer emergency cases to other hospitals in the name of no bed. He warned directors of various hospitals in the country to adopt measures to end the menace. He was speaking at the maiden edition of the Maternal Health and Child and Nutrition Conference 2018 in Accra.
It is my wish that the no-bed syndrome that is currently becoming something that will not go away every morning will soon cease. And I have, at various meetings and other fora, intimated that we're looking for to create a health intelligence unit to sit either in the ministry or somewhere else to be monitoring things that are going on in some of our facilities. We are hearing in the ministry that beds are for sale in Kolebu. And when I got that information, I was thinking that we were short of beds and people were selling beds to people in Kolebu. Not knowing that it is the way we are describing the situation where when you put down money, you get a bed. We are investigating that. And anybody caught in this respect will be dealt with according to the laws and the sanctions regimes that we have in our service delivery window. We are not joking on this.
Let's turn to some other news now. As the registration for the national identification cards has begun at the Parliament House, the exercise, which has so far been patronised by only majority MPs and other staff of Parliament, is expected to continue for the next 2 weeks.
By 8 a.m., officials from the National Identification Authority were already at the Parliament House setting up for the exercise. The process, however, began at 10:30, by which time some members of Parliament had reported. Some members who did not have the required document and information could not register.
I did it to some extent and I have to pause for a while because I've done change of name and I need to bring my gazetted slip for them to inculcate it into it. So I have to pause, and then I didn't bring few things. I thought because I was having the old one, I don't have to bring it. But when I came, he said I should go and bring it. So I'm going to bring that tomorrow. I didn't finish the process.
The few that met the criteria went through the cumbersome process amidst frustrations at some point. For 2 hours, members were still going through the registration process. It was some minutes past midday that the first MP was issued Ghana card.
First point is to fill the form, and filling the form you need some requirements, and I didn't have all the requirements. For instance, the digital address was not readily available. I needed my SNIT number. I needed even my TIN and a whole lot of things that must be available. It's something that probably the NIE needs to do, conduct a lot more education, because most of the people will not be aware of the sort of things that they need to come along with.
The minority blatantly ignored the exercise, saying they would only rescind their decision if they are convinced with the responses by the NIA, who were scheduled to meet the House at a committee of the whole.
And once we are satisfied and there's a compromise, broken, especially with the voter ID, obviously you see us participating. If they are not accepting, I will not want to register and be a Ghanaian when my constituents cannot register to be a Ghanaian. We will proceed to court to get the Supreme Court to make a ruling. There they will say that voter ID cannot be used as an identification to be a Ghanaian. Then we all.
Now, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has officially taken over the alleged corruption scandal at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, that's GEPA. It has consequently extended an invitation to the sacked Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Gifty Clenham, to appear before it on Tuesday, June 12, 2018. That particular meeting is expected to take place today. Now, EOCO has also asked the deputy to Gifty Clenham, Eric Chum Amoako, to report before it for questioning. Subsequently, it's not clear why Gifty Clenham has been invited. The CEO is among 3 other heads of agencies who were sacked by the president on June 6, 2018. However, Gifty Clenham says she, as at yesterday, was yet to receive any letter terminating her appointment, but the presidency has subsequently announced her replacement.
Well, on to some other stories. This evening, Ghana is developing a safeguard information system to track how well the country is doing in the implementation of REDD+ and other actions to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions to climate change. The system will also consolidate a win-win approach to reforestation. This was disclosed as a two-day Africa region South-South knowledge exchange on country approaches to REDD+ in Accra.
Deforestation and forest degradation, according to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Fifth Assessment Report, are mainly occurring in tropics and subtropics, contributing over 17% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The 2010 Cancun Agreement on Safeguards has therefore set the tone at a broad global level for inclusion of safeguards in REDD+ palms. The Africa Region REDD+ Safeguards Workshop in Ghana is in response to a demand for further knowledge exchange on safeguards for the Africa region. Such workshops therefore provide a great learning opportunity to define, refine, adapt, co-opt, and connect the right dots through valuable and rich exchanges from different knowledge pools.
The main thrust of Ghana's REDD+ strategy is the implementation of large-scale commodity-driven interventions that reduce greenhouse gases considerably and enhance livelihoods in the most appropriate social and environmental safeguards conditions.
Ghana's REDD+ strategy was launched in November 2016, spanning a 20-year period. Recognizing the threat to shade trees in the northern savanna zone of Ghana, another sub-national REDD+ emission reduction program proposal has been developed.
We don't want cocoa production to go down because cocoa is a major economic tree crop for Ghana. And even globally also the significance of the chocolate industry. And we don't also want to lose our forest at the expense of cocoa production. So we've come together, the Forestry Commission, Ghana Cocoa Board, with support of other stakeholders to design this unique program that is going to address cocoa yields and then also increase the forest cover. So it's a win-win situation.
It is expected that a sustained political support, increased sectoral collaboration and adequate financial incentives, Africa's desire to use the REDD+ mechanism to curb deforestation and forest degradation while improving the livelihoods of its population will be met.
On MTN Video Report tonight, Wisdom Annan expresses his gratitude to TV3 after his first story on a wrongly sited electricity pole has been repositioned at Old Ningo in the Greater Accra region.
Thank you, TV3, for reporting our main problem. Now the light pole has been removed from the road, and this is the new one that has been changed, as you can see on your screen. This pole was brought in to replace the one that was in the road, and as you can see, it is here gently, and every vehicle will have their way to pass without any interfering with the pole accident. Once again, I'm Annan Wisdom, reporting from Bunguno, Old Ningo.
Annan Wisdom, amazing. But we want to say, definitely, one day at a time, we'll get results for you. And thank you for letting us know that you're also getting results. You can also send your video report via WhatsApp on 055-1433-044, 055-1433-044. Back shortly. It's live here on NEWS360. Back shortly after this quick break. Do stay.
Welcome back to NEWS360. Let's delve into some news from the world of business now. As the price of maize is up by some 50% at the major market centers across the country. The increase in the commodity has been described as drastic, comparing prices from between February and June.
Our case study was the Nima market here in Accra, which is known for the sale of cereals, dominated mainly by maize. However, the picture today is different.
Traders have substituted the maize with other grains.
We are told the shortage is caused by government, so we are looking up to God.
Hajia Adiza, for instance, who initially imports 30 bags of maize every week, is unable to afford 3 bags because of the cost. An olonka of maize at the market, which in April was sold for 4 cedis, now goes for 6 cedis. A 100 kg bag of maize that was sold for 100 cedis is now going for 250 cedis within same period.
These increases will come as a result of some probably higher demand for maize because of the increase also in the poultry production and other livestock, fish as well. Then you also want to take into consideration the challenges we are having with the fall armyworms. Then also the implementation of the Planting for Food and Jobs.
Baba Musaid brings his maize from Atetebu Amanting in the Bono Ahafo region. His truck has been packed with maize for days with no ready market because there are no buyers.
The maize is in short supply. This year is severe.
Yusuf Walu is a miller. His shop is usually packed with bags of maize to be milled, but business is bad lately. He laments his customers are unable to afford the maize, which is having a toll on his business.
Business
is bad. Now all I mill is kokonte.
Checks from Isoko, Ghana indicates that a 100 kg bag of maize at Agboglushi is selling at 180 cedis from 100 Ghana cedis. The same 100 kg is going for 250 cedis at Ashaman. At Kintampo, it is selling at 200 cedis. At Kumasi Central Market, the same 100 kg maize goes for 190 cedis and 130 cedis in Tamale. Isoko explains the prices vary depending on the location.
Increase in fuel and fares shouldn't affect prices of foodstuff if we can start looking at a long-term procedure or a long-term strategic approach, which is the rolling out of the rail system. If you have a consistent and a good railway system that moves goods from the north to the south and from east to west, that will be reduced. I mean, that goes a long way to contain the prices, the fluctuations.
The World Bank is advocating that Ghana produces enough maize, rice, yam, cassava and cowpea to enhance food security. It is expected that government's flagship Planting for Food and Jobs, including other interventions, will help in restructuring the sector and provide food security. For TV3, Eton Amse.
Let's turn to some other business news. The football twist, as Africa's leading digital TV operator, StarTimes, has launched its app video streaming service in Ghana ahead of the 2018 FIFA World Cup. The aim of the service is to give all Ghanaians the opportunity to watch the World Cup while on the move, anytime and anywhere.
To mark the launching of the new service, StarTimes is offering the first 30,000 users an attractive early bird promo for watching the World Cup on its StarTimes app. From 12th to 14th June, the first 30,000 subscribers only need to pay discounted 7 cedis for 38 days to subscribe to On-Sport Bouquet on StarTimes app to watch all the 64 World Cup matches in HD. The original price of the on-sport service includes 2 cedis 50 pesos for 1 day, 10 cedis for 1 week, and 25 cedis for 38 days. However, these prices have been discounted for the first 30,000 subscribers to 1 cedi 50 pesos for 1 day, 6 cedis for 1 week, and 7 cedis for 38 days. Head of Marketing at StarTimes Ghana, Akofa Jankwi, said wherever customers may be, they only need a steady internet connection, and StarTimes app will get them fully entertained.
The World Cup period is actually a little over 30 days. So for 38 days, you pay just 7 cedis, and at any time you can watch the content of the FIFA World Cup unlimited. So you pay just 7 cedis, you watch today, you can go off, come back at midnight and watch at any time, anywhere. And we think this is a great offer that we're giving to users of the Start Times app, and even new people who are now going to download the app. And so we think everybody should get involved and watch all games conveniently from wherever they may be.
She added that over 70 channels of the Start Times app covering movies, series, documentaries, music and sports are currently open to all users for free in a limited time.
The World Cup will definitely be fun for subscribers. I mean, in the past, if you were going home from work and you're not home yet, there was no way you could watch the World Cup. But we are making it possible for all Ghanaians, wherever they may be. If you're at work, if you're a mechanic, you could just take your phone out of your pocket, go on to Start Times app, and you can stream the matches live.
The Start Times app can be downloaded through various channels, including Google Play, Apple Store, and Start Times website.
Well, certainly an exciting offer there by Star Times ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Robert Ahumkalensi, has hinted of government's plans to support existing industries expand to provide job opportunities for graduates under the Nation Builders Corps. He added that vibrant companies that have also shut down will be rejuvenated to support the program.
Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry disclosed that the Enterprise Ghana module under the Nation Builders Corps has received an overwhelming patronage of 13,000 applicants so far. The module is designed to assist with industrialization. The policy is geared towards district industrial drive under the One District, One Factory initiative. The module will provide opportunities for graduates to be recruited by the private sector as part of government's agenda of job creation. Robert Ahumkalensi explained that a memorandum of understanding will be signed between government and the private companies to ensure that the beneficiaries get the needed skills training.
We've agreed with them over the 3-year period the sorts of programs that we have, such as the fact that each of the graduates will have 12 weeks of guaranteed training. 6 weeks of that will be done by government, another 6 weeks will be done by the company in line with the jobs that the graduates are doing in the company themselves.
He added, government intends to rejuvenate collapsed companies and also support existing companies to expand. Under the Enterprise Ghana module, government will absorb the cost of allowances to be paid to the beneficiaries for 1.5 years, while the private company will pay the last 1.5 years allowance. Some business owners who had partnered with government for the program expressed satisfaction.
If the government is rolling out these things, it will actually help the graduates to actually upskill their trading and their skills so that they can actually decide what they want to do in the future. I think it's very, very important.
We need people skilled.
And that's it for the business news this evening. Visit our website, it's 3news.com, for some more business news. On to you, Alfred.
Thank you, Natalie. Now, go to the presidency. The Government and the Hospital Pharmacy Association, GOSPA, has called on President Akufo-Addo to take steps to implement their already negotiated and signed conditions of service. The group lauded government's commitment towards issuing concerning pharmacists and also insisted the implementation of their conditions of service ought to be given special attention by the president.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana also took the opportunity to invite the president to the upcoming 23rd AGM to be held in the Volta regional capital, Ho. The group insisted issues of conditions of service were key to enhancing effective service delivery.
Conditions of service have not been implemented, and we know that with the interest you have so far in pharmacists, you have shown so far in pharmacy, you are able to get this, put in a word and get it going. The Ghana College of Pharmacists is established by law to train postgraduate pharmacists. And so far, the board of the college has not been put in place. And we are bringing it to your notice so that any actions that may have to be taken would help to move this and establish the board.
president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, Thomas Boateng PJ, assured the president efforts are being made to control the sale and abuse of the banned substance tramadol.
I am happy to inform you that the collaborative work of the Food and Drugs Authority and the Pharmacy Council in stepping up regulation and enforcement activities in helping in curbing the tramadol menace. We as a society have also stepped up our game in bringing sanity to bear in this menace.
President Akufo-Addo assured them that the issues they have tabled before him will be addressed immediately.
We believe that there are major opportunities for a well-motivated pharmaceutical sector in Ghana to go out there and, as it were, conquer the world, certainly the African world. And the opportunities are good, the opportunities that will have a direct impact on our country, its GDP, its employment, its balance of payments, all of those things. So we take the sector very seriously. And the measures that we have put in place that are clearly bearing fruit.
Now, the Ministry of Education is to roll out new initiatives in the next academic year to inculcate discipline in students. The move, according to the ministry, is to grow the human resource base. Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yanka, is confident that the new measures will improve on the educational system.
Issues about punctuality in the public service have characterized government's policies over the years. In most ministries, clocking machines have been installed to check lateness to work. Other ministries, notebooks have been made available to record attendance of employees. All these measures are geared towards reducing lateness to work and to improve on work output. In some ministries, including the Ministry of Railways, staff were dismissed for reporting to work late. In the education sector, lateness either by teachers or students also affects academic work. It is in this light of this that the Ministry of Education, in partnership with the civil society group Punctuality Foundation, is to roll out an initiative aimed at checking punctuality.
When you mention punctuality, it is just a fragment of the whole concept he's talking about. He's mainly talking not just about punctuality, but about productivity and discipline. Most importantly, he's talking about time as a crucial resource in development.
Crusader for the Punctuality Foundation, Emmanuel Amakwe, urged the MMDAs to check in discipline in the communities.
Parents will go and buy a resource, whatever, examination paper, and come and give it to his ward to study and pass an examination, teaching the child stealing from the beginning. So how do you expect that child to go up to become? And so education is very critical in our public education.
Now, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations is to cut down the number by half of children in child labour by 2021. An estimated 22% of children in Ghana are in child labour, according to the latest survey by the Ghana Statistical Service. Speaking at the World Day Against Child Labour, Sector Minister Ignatius Bafwewa bemoaned child labour, describing it as an abuse of fundamental human rights of children and an affront to constitutional democracy and development. The day was on the theme, Resist Child Labour, Improve the Safety and Health of Young Workers towards achieving SDG Goal 8.
Now, 13-year-old Joel Akpa-Chavi requires financial support for a surgery to correct his swollen jaw. Now, the primary 6 pupil has been diagnosed by doctors at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital with facial tumor that requires 8,000 cedis to be corrected.
Joel's condition began in November last year, but was mistaken as a normal oral problem by his parents. However, the condition continued to get worse by the day. Joel Akpa-Chavi's left jaw kept growing bigger and bigger, prompting a referral to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Doctors led by Dr. Dominic Bobidonko later diagnosed him to be suffering from a rare cancerous tumor of odontogenic epithelium, otherwise known as emilplastoma. Doctors say Joel Akpachevi will need a total of 8,000 cedis for surgery to correct the anomaly. However, his bedridden father could not afford his treatment, and Joel's auntie Mary Mensah, who took charge of Joel after the demise of his mother when he was 6 years old, could do little to help. Joel's condition has affected his speech, forcing him to stop going to school for the past 2 months, and doctors say it may get worse if the surgery is delayed.
So that's a worrying one there, isn't it?
Pretty worrying.
Absolutely.
But let me just remind you that you also still live here on NEWS360. Join us with your thoughts on the various social media platforms. We're back shortly with some sports news. Do stay.
Welcome back to NEWS360. Let's take a look at some international news this evening. U.S. President Donald Trump says his historic talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that ended in a joint agreement were tremendous. The signed document includes a pledge from Mr. Kim to rid the Korean peninsula of nuclear weapons. In a media conference later, Mr. Trump announced details not in the paper. He said he would halt U.S. military exercises in South Korea, something widely seen as a concession. The meeting was the first time a sitting U.S. president has met North Korea's leader and caps a remarkable turnaround for the two. Last year saw the pair sling various insults at each other, while North Korea conducted several ballistic missile tests in defiance of the international community. For both men, the meeting brought much to gain as well as considerable risk. The meeting is seen by North Korea as a way of bringing legitimacy to a nation long regarded as a pariah. Should Mr. Trump resolve the North's nuclear threat, he would have achieved something none of his predecessors came close to. Well, historic one there. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron has accused the Italian government of cynicism and irresponsibility for refusing to let a stranded rescue ship packed with migrants dock in Italy. A charity looking after the 629 migrants on the Aquarius stranded off Malta says 2 Italian ships will help take them to Spain's port of Valencia. Said Italy was playing politics with the migrants who were picked up off Libya's coast. The migrants, mainly sub-Saharan Africans, were found in inflatable boats at the weekend. They are now being looked after by Doctors Without Borders and the Franco-German charity SOS Méditerranée aboard the Aquarius. Mr. Macron's spokesperson, Benjamin Griveaux, said the French president recalled that in cases of distress, those with the nearest coastline have a responsibility to respond. He further quoted Mr. Macron as saying there is a degree of cynicism and irresponsibility in the Italian government's behavior. Most migrants who survive the perilous voyages from North Africa end up in overcrowded Italian camps, and Italy says its EU partners must ease the burden. The plan is for the Aquarius to be joined by an Italian Coast Guard ship and a warship, which will take on board most of the migrants. Now you can visit our website 3news.com for some more international news. Next is entertainment news with Miriam.
Hi there, good evening. Let's find out who is making news in the world of entertainment in Ghana tonight. We'll start with pageantry. Now, the first runner-up of the 2017 Ghana's Most Beautiful Baba Butchie has launched her Psych Health Foundation, a project to sensitize the youth on mental health-related issues. As part of a bid to see a better mental health sector, Baba will organize talks on substance abuse and how to care for people living with mental illness.
Butchie, a mental health nurse, was an advocate for mental health-related issues during the 2017 Ghana's Most Beautiful reality show. The native of Winneba seized the opportunity to highlight the challenges of the sector, calling for the area to be given the needed support. The launch of Baba Psych Health Foundation will further advance the cause started a year ago.
The state has led the way with the passing into law of Mental Health Act 846, but a lot more needs to be done. The task is huge for it to be left alone to the mandated authority to undertake on its own. Like there's a lot of work to be done to see mental health prosper, but the laborers are indeed few.
The team is expected to visit schools, churches and religious organizations to sanitize the youth on the cause and prevention of mental illness, amongst other activities.
We have the passion to see mental health prosper, but passion without action is nothing. In view of this, we have been engaged in a number of activities prior to this day. Our plan of activities to see a better mental health sector include engaging the youth especially. They are our future, so if we want to see mental health issues taken seriously, then we need to engage our future leaders now. For those in school, we plan on using already existing clubs or associations in educating them on mental health issues. For those who are out of school, community therapists will be organized to help reach them.
The passion-driven beauty queen also hopes to see a better appreciation of the rights of persons living with mental illness.
Well, you recall it was something she was very passionate about. We're glad she can achieve it. But away from that, so you've heard several times how people say people in entertainment, music go broke, but not according to Belinda Nanekia Amwa, aka Miss Bell. She says this industry has paid her so much she can never go broke. According to the singer, she has made lots of positive investments to secure her future. Hence, she doesn't see herself struggling for money. Miss Bell noted that she wouldn't describe herself as a very rich person, but she's got enough to live a comfortable life as an entertainer. And that's about it for entertainment tonight. There's more entertainment news on the 3news.com website. I'll catch you tomorrow on the Urban Blend at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Hi, Alfred.
Hi, I was waiting for that. I missed that order. But I want to say thank you so much for spending some 60 minutes with us here on News 360. My name is Alfred Okansi. I'm
Natalie Ford. Visit our website. It's 3news.com. You can get some more news on there. Remember, news at 10 will simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Thanks so much for watching. Have a remarkable evening.